adopt XRP, they're going to adopt a different transfer system where the final settlement is done by XRP. That's how funny it's becoming. They can join the entire Ripple ecosystem, which includes the RLUSD stablecoin and the XRP ledger, which is an accounting book online, on-chain, they call it. They could do that, or they could just go their own way, but the final settlement, are they going to want to have an escrow corresponding account on each end, the Nostro and Vostro account? I don't think so. No, XRP with its on-demand liquidity enables the elimination of somewhere around $15 trillion in corresponding bank. They're calling it, escrow funds. Escrow funds on the receiving end, escrow fund on the sending end, and all that's eliminated. So will the banking industry like to get rid of $15 trillion tied up so they can actually use it to invest and to lend out and do R&D and do expansion, lending to companies, and maybe get back on track with commercial real estate? I think hell yes. So XRP will continue to take the world by storm. And there's some really big, thick lies being told by SWIFT, because SWIFT is already using it. SWIFT is already using XRP with 11,000 banks through a consortium called Thunes. That's THUNES. And they lied and said they weren't going to use XRP. They consider XRP a rival when they're really a partner. But SWIFT is really a cabal creature. And they're full of pride, and they've got their own desires to continue in a dominant way, but they better be careful. They're going to be swept aside.
We'll have more with Jim Willie right after this.
Don't miss out. Stay informed. Receive the HowStreet.com weekly recap with thought-provoking podcasts, radio, and articles delivered to your inbox. Sign up for the HowStreet.com weekly recap on our homepage at HowStreet.com.
You're listening to goldradio.fm. Available online at HowStreet.com, TalkDigitalNetwork.com.
Welcome back. We're speaking with Jim Willie. Jim, do you think the Gaza peace deal will stick?
I don't really know. I don't call it a peace deal. I call it a hotel deal that has a feature where Israel will release the hostages of Israeli soldiers that Israel is holding and blaming it on Hamas. If it results in an end to the genocide, I'm all for it. But what I believe might happen is they're going to develop the whole region, and the residents of Gaza will be hotel employees to do maid service, door service, parking service, food service, laundry service. So that would be better than what we have now. I find it ludicrous that Trump is being mentioned for a Nobel Peace Prize when he looked the other way for, 18 months? Where 200,000 people were murdered. Well, then again, Obama won a Peace Prize for nothing at all. And by the way, that came with a $1.5 billion Vatican account for the fudge packer from Kenya. I don't know, Jim. I hope it sticks. Egypt has put its military in there, and that's a really good sign. I don't think the Israelis are going to want to wage war with Egypt and Syria at the same time.
Are there positives and negatives to the use of trade tariffs?
The benefits are deceptive. Okay, I'll explain this as best I can. I've been against the trade tariffs. I thought it was a horrible idea out of the gate. about 6 or 8 months ago. The apparent benefit is that we've got money coming into the U.S. Treasury, and it comes into the investment side. Let's just say, I don't want to get really complicated. The term is current account deficit, which is the trade deficit plus the investment deficit. But if we get tariffs coming in, that's income on the investment side, and it offsets the trade deficit. So let's just call it, we got a big reduction in the trade deficit, which is evident. And it's deceptive because Trump believes that means we have economic activity. For those who think Trump is a genius in business, I got news for you. He's not. He had 3 bankruptcies, and now he considers trade tariffs as a great source of income. And when the income comes in to offset trade deficits, he regards that as economic activity. That's dumb as a rock. What we have now is a continued economic depression where inflation is being reduced in a few pockets, like food and fuel, like diesel, gasoline, food prices. It's calming. It's not coming down much, but gasoline prices are coming down. But insurance is not going down. Rent is not coming down. So where's the economic activity, Donald, that you're boasting about a very strong U.S. economy, the strongest in half a century? What a nutball. We've got offsetting trade deficits from the tariffs. Furthermore, when he boasted of slapping tariffs on Japan, which was a stupid idea, we had SoftBank, which had pledged in March of this year $200 billion in foreign direct investments for data centers, robotics, and electricity plants. They stopped. It was a punitive trade tariff slapped on Japan that never should have been done. They should have been given a complete pass. Okay. Where's the benefit, Donald? It's only to reduce the trade deficit. The costs are that it stalls pledges. Okay, where's the Saudi investment of their $100 billion? Are they building new refineries in the United States, Texas, Louisiana? No. Where's the investment, Donald? I don't see any. What we've done is we've angered nations like India. We're slapping a tariff on India. Why? India said, screw you. We're going to embrace Russia and buy their energy and process it and sell it as refined products to Europe. Okay, they're working around the Russian sanctions, Donald. Your tariff is alienating the entire planet. And if you're not careful, there's going to be a global embargo against the United States. He's a business moron. Okay, he's installing liberty and cutting the federal fat in the bureaucracy, and he's exposing USAID, he's exposing the deep state fraud. That's wonderful. But as far as business goes, he's an absolute idiot.
We're hearing price inflation is under control, is it?
Well, if you impose the lie, it looks really good. We never stopped the lie. Robert Rubin was the champion of the Consumer Price Index lie. Robert Rubin, the Treasury Secretary in 1992 for Bill Clinton, the second narco president in the line of 4. We lie. Every percent lied on price inflation is a lie of 1% on economic growth, because that's what we use to bring down the nominal GDP. I believe we're seeing some progress with the food prices. I monitor eggs. Eggs are way down. I just love these little chickens. They can kill a lot of chickens, adult chickens, egg-laying hens. But in 22 weeks, the new chicks are laying eggs. They need to continue to kill chickens. That's what the Department of Agriculture, under the Biden show. I don't call it a Biden presidency because he was dead. He was the first dead president in the United States, and that's why Trump put his auto pen signature on the wall. Okay, we do not have price inflation under control because we've not expanded the economy. We've not expanded the supply chain, which you need to do to bring down prices across the board. We do not provide much interest yield for insurance companies on their nut, which is their collection of assets from which they derive bond yield income. That's why insurance rates are going up, because they had 10 years of next to frickin' nothing in income. And the pension funds, same thing. So what do the insurance companies do? They raise the premiums and deny your awards when you have an accident. Sorry, that's not covered. Sorry. No, we're not going to rebuild the house because the fire was an extraordinary event. Okay. The insurance companies have become criminals. The pension funds have become paupers. So no, we don't have price inflation under control. We're not rebuilding the economy. We're not rebuilding the supply chain. I mean the supply chain in 30 industries. I'm not going to name them. Whatever. 30 industries. And we're cutting off supply from China, and prices are going up for everything where we depended on from China. Oh my gosh. The group that hates Trump the most is farmers. They got wrecked in the previous administration. Trump won 2017 to 20. They're getting wrecked again because we can't sell soybeans to China. Can't sell them wheat. We're going to see more historically unprecedented bankruptcies in the farm sector for the Trump 2 administration. Don't get me wrong. I love what he's doing about exposing fraud to the deep state, identifying criminals, cutting out U.S. aid, cutting back the federal bureaucracy. But as far as business goes, he's an absolute idiot.
Threats and benefits. What's the latest on artificial intelligence?
I'm hearing that there are some difficulties in a few of the AI centers, that they cannot obtain enough electricity. I've done 2, I think it was July and August, in my report for the newsletter, where we have undercapacity in the United States. We have no national policy. We adopted some of the lunatic, suicidal, cabal, globalist priority of going green. Going green means you destroy your economy because green cannot supply sufficient energy for your economy. It's a very interesting angle where they duped stupid-ass Americans and Westerners into shutting down nuclear plants and arguing, let's go green, let's go all green, let's go all green. Okay, there's your moron. Green energy cannot supply more than 15 to 20% of the energy needs of the entire economy. So when you go green, you kill the economy. Artificial intelligence is blamed for a number of job cuts. I featured in a recent report that Intel and Microsoft had huge, like each over 10,000 job cuts. They blamed it on AI, but I think it's more like they didn't want to say we've got an economic depression. I've been arguing we're in an economic depression since 2021. I define an economic depression as more than a 3% decline in the economy. And I believe we've had an inflationary depression until probably this year. This year we're not really burning with price inflation. We're just a little bit hot. So artificial intelligence is going to continue for the next 5 years to bring about high energy bills, high electric bills at your home. What we might be seeing is some of the consortiums, I know it's consortia, plural, Latin, I don't care. Some of the consortiums might be under rules of engagement where they need to deny the data centers and favor the homes, the households. So I haven't noticed, no client of mine has said, sorry, I've got an account with an AI service and I get locked out. No one's told me that yet, but I'm reading that they're short on electricity, and this is going to go on for the next 5 years because priority in the United States has been twofold for the last 5 years: war and economic destruction by the globalists.